This video is going to be about doing isometric drawings in AutoCAD. And apparently the tutorial video on how to draw in isometric is no longer in the Chapter 7 video files. Strange. Anyway, so I've given you, excuse me, I've given you a practice file to download. Come on. Looks like this. And this is similar to some of the exercises in the textbook there in Chapter 7. And so I want you to download this file and go ahead and open it up in AutoCAD. There's some reading there that tells you how to get into stuff and set up your isometric styles and how to do offsets and drawings and things. So I'm giving you this file which goes along with things in the textbook. So definitely read the textbook and follow along. I'm going to show you a few things. I won't do everything for you since it's laid out in the textbook there, but I'm giving you the files. First thing, we want to change and go to what's called ISO draft, okay? And so that changes our cursor. And as it is now, this will draw in the lines that the lines of the cursor will go. So just for example, line command. Right now, I don't have ortho mode on, so I can, draw any way. But if I turn ortho mode on, it constrains me to those axes if I want to draw something else. And you think about this as I'm working on the surface of a cube. So you can see with my cursor here, I can work on the top surface of the cube or anything that's parallel to the top surface, okay? If I press F5 on my keyboard, it toggles the cursor. And so now I'm working on the ISO right surface. I press F5 again, it changes and I'm now on the ISO left surface. Okay. So that's how you move your things around. When you will not have circles in ISOs because every plane is tilted away from you, if you will. Even though we're drawing it in 2 dimensions, we're viewing that plane as being tilted away from you. So a circle will no longer be a circle. It will be an ellipse. And an isometric ellipse is different than a standard ellipse. And so let's see, the book, where does it say? Looking for the page number, although you should be in the page already. Page 325. So you start with the ellipse command and you can hit it on your draw toolbar. Right, sorry. Right here. I keep going too far. This mouse is super sensitive. Okay, so we start with the ellipse command. So you can click that or you can just type EL, ellipse. And now your options down here, you want to choose an ISO circle. So I. Now you want the center of it. And so I'm going to come down to here. And so I'm going to snap there to the center. And if you know what you want to input is the radius of your circle. And so in this case, we're going to do a radius of 1. And that's the radius of your true circle, okay, as it would be in orthographic mode. And so that draws you your isometric ellipse. And the way it works in cubes, if you think about the 3 sides of the cube, any ellipse on the left surface will go, the length of the ellipse is like this. It's what we call the major axes, would be aligned through the longest points of it. Excuse me. Okay, so if we were to go to the top surface and repeat that, ellipse, isocircle, oh, my command died on me. The major axis is straight across in a horizontal line, okay? And if we were on the right surface, the major axis goes up to the right, okay? So that's you have to use an isometric ellipse or an isocircle, okay? Same way when you're doing fillets, you can't use a fillet command or a round command. What you do is offset, and the book is telling you to do offsets of 1 inch, I think it is. Oh. And then you would do an iso circle here. Oh, something happened. Oh, I told it 1 inch when I should have just drawn it out. I guess I should read the book, eh? Where was it? Oh, I did offset when I should have done copy. My bad. I forgot that. Because offset does perpendicular to what you're doing. So we're gonna turn on ISO mode. We're gonna turn ortho on, and we'll go copy. Choose that, a base point, drag it out until I get a snap, and type in 1 inch. Do that again. Come down till I get a snap and go 1 inch. Now I do the same with this. Base point, down till I get a snap and go 1 inch. Now I should be able to do my ellipse. And if I type in 1 inch, it'll be perfect, or I can snap to the intersection either way. Okay, and then you're going to trim things out. Now, once you've created these, you can copy them. Like say we want them, they're going to be on the back side here. I could copy, so I'll choose that circle. I could choose both of them, no big deal. And for my base, for my copy command didn't take. Okay, for my base point, I could choose this corner and drag it right back to there because it's a known point and we're just going the same distance back. No, just go through and trim out. Things that I don't need, you know. Uh, Now, when we're dealing with these things, we've got a surface here that we need to have a line across there. And so it's going to be tangent to both of these. like so. Then we trim again. Okay, and so that's how you would do them up there. Same thing on the front here, just you change planes. Copying. Here's the file that you're going to be working in. Okay. And so here's what your completed one will look like without the dimensions. I pulled these dimensions to look at and see what I was going to be getting at. Now, a couple of tips on drawing ISOs. It really does work better if you draw the overall box size before you start. And that's what I've given you here in these yellow lines. Most objects work out better if you draw the overall box. And then you can work inside that box to measure things for, especially when you've got these little offsets like these 3 features here. You can measure from the box to determine where it's at. In a case like this, when we have obliquing lines or non-isometric lines, if we measured this in an orthographic view, it would not be the same as what it is in an isometric view. Okay, in an orthographic view, it's going to be true size. Here in isometric, it's distorted, so you cannot measure the length of that line. What you have to do is locate the endpoints with, I would say, an XY coordinate. Okay, you need a coordinate of some kind for the endpoint. And so I know the endpoint of this line is 2 inches from this corner down. Okay, so I could draw this line at 2 inches and then end the command. Here it's 1 inch up and I would end the command. So I'll demonstrate that here. So I come down until I get a snap and I'm going to tell it 2. And I'm just going to end the command. Come down to here, do the same thing, come up 1. And you could end the command or you can connect them. Okay. Now you may, I didn't turn off ortho mode when I connected them. Most of the time it will work fine if you get an object snap. Sometimes it may not work out fine. So you may have to turn off your ortho mode to draw those obliquing lines. And the nice thing about isometric views is once you've started something, and if it's identical on the other sides, you can just copy those things down. So like I know that these lines are the same on the other side, so I'm just going to copy them. Okay. And then I've got them, so now I can connect them. Let's change. And I know that line length will be the same all the way over there, so I can copy it. Pick a base point, so I'll copy it back to there, down to there, and down to there. Okay. All right. So if you got any questions, send me an email. All right.